Good day. Welcome to this lecture video. So today we will be talking about the 5 big words. So of course, I am referring to the 5 big words in describing a scientific research. Okay, so what are these 5 big words? So Ramos in 2009 in his compendium of research modules specified the 5 big concepts that describe some of the key aspects of contemporary social researches. And these are theoretical. So the first big word is theoretical. The second one is empirical. Third one is nomothetic. Fourth is the probabilistic. And the last one is causal. Okay, so let us discuss this one by one. First, scientific researches or social sciences researches are theoretical. So social research is theoretical when much of it is concerned with developing, exploring, or testing the theories or ideas that social researchers have about how the world operates. So in a research paper, we have there a portion wherein we state the theoretical framework of the study. So it is where we place what are our theories, what are the theories that is our basis. And from here, we have some proposal on what to do, either to develop a new theories related to that theory, to the existing theory, to explore, or just simply to test the mentioned theories. So in some, for instance, in some of action researches, usually we place the theories on learning. So we have actually different theoretical or rather theories about learning. And we also have some theories, of course, related to the frameworks like the K-12 framework right now. So it's of course based from some theories. And in contrary to theoretical, the second big word is the empirical. So when the research is largely based on observations and measurements of reality on what we perceive of the world around us, the first two terms, theoretical and empirical, are often constructed with each other. But most researches in the social sciences is a blending of these two terms, a comparison of our theories about how the world operates with our observation of its operation. So again, we can relate this in doing an action research. So when we, of course, have some basis, we base it in some theories, and then we test it, and we now have some conclusions or generalizations based on experiences. So if we are going to compare the two, we know that if it's theoretical, then it's simply based on the theories. And if it's empirical, it is based on the observations. So again, in the coming up with a good research problems, sometimes it is because of the existing theories that we have, and also at times it is because of what we experience. That's the reason why we have our research problems. Now let us move to the third big word. So the third big word is the nomothetic. It is from the writings of the psychologist Gordon Allport. So what is this nomothetic? So it refers to the laws or rules that relate to individuals. So it is in Greek. Nomos means idiographic and idios means self or characteristic of an individual. So again, sometimes this nomos and idios are two contradicting words, because if we refer to nomos, it is something about making a generalization. Unlike for idios, it is simply, or rather it focused on individual. In any event, the point here is that most social science researchers, again, are concerned with nomotetics. It is the general case rather than the individual. So we often study individuals, but we are usually interested in generalizing to more than just the individual. So sometimes we conduct research like case studies, and then from there, we add more cases, another cases, until of course we can now come up with some generalization. So in the conducting researches, if it's even let's say a quantitative researches, we sometimes make sure that we have a large enough number of samples in such a way that when we make our generalization, it is true about in a way, it is true about what the group represents, and it is not just because of that particular individual. Okay, let's move. How about probabilistic? So this is another big word. What is this is the fourth big word. What is probabilistic? So it is of course, we know that in contemporary social research, we also concerned with probabilities. That's why in doing researches, we have what we call as quantitative research, and we apply statistics. So we have some inferences that needs inferential statistics for us to solve that particular problem. So we don't limit our researches into qualitative, but we considered both quantitative and qualitative. And when we are dealing with a quantitative research, particularly if we have some problems about, maybe it's about relationship, associations, influence, or comparison, it means that there is a need for us to use this inferential stat. Okay, so now let us consider other more information about it. So part of the reason why we have seen statistics become so dominant in social research is that it allows us to estimate probabilities for every situation we study. So this is actually our basis for us to determine whether we are going to accept or to reject our hypothesis. So we base it to the computed value or through the probability. Okay, now let's move. So how about causal? So of course, in the, working on some researches, there are researchers that is also interested at cause and effect relationship. So there are some studies that simply observe, for instance, survey that seeks to describe the percent of people holding a particular position. And there are many studies that explore relationships. So for instance, studies that attempt to see whether there is a relationship between gender and work ethics. The point is that the vast majority of applied social research consists of this descriptive and correlational studies. So in, again, relation with what we are talking about, the fourth big word, which is probabilistics. Of course, there are some problems that is in nature a cause and effect, then it is also answerable by using some inferential statistics. So social research in its causality is highly interested in looking beyond the world, beyond the relationship, but we would like to be able to change the word for the better. So perhaps at best. So improve, if not eliminate, some of the world's major problems. So something that tells us how the causes, example, programs, interventions, work policies that affect the outcomes of work ethics or productivity. So some of the researches that we conduct, of course, in science, we know that they are doing an experiment because the researches is mainly to determine some effectivity or effectiveness of newly drug that they produced or new product that they were able to made from maybe organic materials and all others. But in social researches, social sciences researches, we also of course have cause and effect relationship problems. So it is not just because it is not conducting or you are not conducting an experiment just like the scientists do, it doesn't mean that we cannot use cause and effect problems in researches. As mentioned here, we can also come up with a program and then test the program. So how effective the program is, how effective the intervention is, or the work policies being implemented, and others. So again, we have the 5 big words that describe scientific research, and these are theoretical, empirical, nomothetic, probabilistic, and causal. So thank you for listening.